Hey guys, Garden here today. Bringing a brand new video. Today I'm going to be explaining how Daniel Negreanu does his reads in poker, and hopefully you guys can learn from this to figure out how you can also do stuff like this to read people's hands in poker. So, in case you guys don't know, I'm a poker pro, really good at playing online poker. I've made a good amount also from playing live games. Let's just get right into the video then. Check out this analysis. I almost exposed the amount that I actually make in real life.
Too many other things. He plays golf. He's got his own blog. He's doing Wii bowling. He's scattered.
Wii bowling.
Does raise it to 3,000. With Ryan McClain with pocket aces. He's another Canadian player. He's from Edmonton.
Maybe this is the Canadians' year to win the main event.
A re-raise to 9,000
So
from the small blind from McClain.
McClain here re-raises in the small blind, which is typically very strong because the small blind is the weakest player post flop. So usually when they raise in the small blind, it's like when they re-raise you in the small blind, it's a very big indicator that they probably have something really good.
But he did. He calls.
6,000 more. These two Canadians to the flop. It is 5-4 queen, and that's dangerous. Daniel paired his top card.
You see, Daniel hits top pair and he's hopelessly behind. That's why he didn't have to.
You know what I think he's got? Aces.
That is uncanny.
I think he's got two aces.
Oh my god! So like when you're McClain here,
Hits top.
like look at how he looks here.
That's why he didn't have to.
You know what I think he's got?
Daniel calls out the aces, and this right here, this pretty much confirms he has aces. Like a common tell of like that someone's like uncomfortable or something is usually when they put their hand around their head, a hand on their face, stuff like that. I also in real life, like I put my usually my left hand on my right cheek usually. That's like a thing I do to calm myself down and stuff. I don't do it in poker games obviously because then people can read off of it, but like yeah, it's like make myself feel better when I'm like uncomfortable and stuff like that. So it's a very common tell.
What do you do if you're McClain?
I'm not even sure McClain has aces, and we can see his cards.
So he has to bet out.
Half the pot. That's 12,000 with his aces.
Well, if Daniel is so sure he has aces, why did he reach for chips?
Looks like he called.
Give him an ace over there.
Turn card is a deuce. No help to Daniel.
My assumption really is like, so this one's I'm a little bit unsure of, but I'm nearly certain that like just because he like re-raised 3 times on the small blind, Daniel was just like, okay, he has aces because this guy's like a really tight player or something like that.
McClain checks this time.
You know, I think Daniel's talk has frozen McClain. Daniel
Yeah.
talked his way into a free card.
There's a 5 on the river, and that earns McClain the check mark.
Why would you check aces on the turn? That was such a strange play. You had a straight draw and everything.
If I'm McClain and he's got,
Oh my god.
I just want to crawl into a hole. It's like Daniel's flashing a spotlight in your face.
McClain checks it. Daniel checks it out. There you go.
Aces.
I told you I knew what he had. I had a queen.
He didn't try to bluff him off though.
Well, Daniel might have lost the pot, but the respect he won by calling the aces is invaluable. Well, a big crowd here at the Rio.
Here you go. This is the one that I have no, like out of all of these hands, this is the one I have absolutely no idea about.
And a taxi driver. Mike Sexton with pocket king.
I had no idea how he managed to read Sexton on kings here.
There were 3 ways to get into the TOC: win a circuit event, make the final table of the 05 main event, or get a sponsor exemption.
Madison was at that 05 final table. Negreanu and Reslock won circuit events, and Sexton got a sponsor exemption.
You guys gonna call the bet?
Queen deuce will
Queen
make
deuce
the
suited.
Sexton with the advantage going to the flop.
He has good odds. Heads up.
Rainbow. Sexton's kings keep Daniel in hot water.
Ryan did call out position. He's gonna check.
Sexton will slow play the king.
Sexton's gonna slow play. Negreanu did get bottom pair. Looks like he's gonna bet out here.
Daniel's still far behind.
But he is going to bet it. 30,000 chips.
Well, for all Daniel knows, his deuces are the best hand right now. Sexton might have just a couple of high cards.
And Sexton's right behind.
Sexton with the smooth call.
River card is
Another 5 and
check mark with kings up. Negreanu will be first to act, and he checks it now.
here like There's like so many different hands Sexton could be betting out with, but like
Kings and
Negreanu
fives,
here
bet
puts him exactly on
$50.
kings.
That got Daniel's attention.
He's betting 50,000 into a pot of 110,000. Value betting this baby. Yeah, Daniel's thinking, what can I do?
Is it like the bet
And
sizing?
what does he have?
Like anything with his posture? What's going on?
You might have like kings, I guess. It's crazy.
He might.
Kings?
That is unearthly. Daniel might be an alien.
Time and time again, we hear him call out his opponent's cards. He might have X-ray vision.
I just want to see him.
Oh, he was going to pay for the information and make the call.
How scary is this guy?
You have kings?
How scary is this, really?
Yeah, I thought that's the only hand you could have was 2 kings.
That was insane.
That was a raise, I suspect. Daniel likes to play a lot of hands.
Good enough to get rid of young
Negreanu bets out pocket fives.
Lee Nelson seems
Nobody really calls.
puts it in the trash quite rightly.
And nobody wants to take on Daniel Negreanu here.
Action around to
Person with 10-8 off, and he likes his odds. He's gonna
in the big blind, and he decides that
he's gonna defend his big blind here.
late at all, even with 10-8 off suit.
Well, he does have 2 overcards, luckily for him.
He has a gut shot, straight shot now.
Both missed that. It's given a gut shot to Person, but he won't like those straights.
Person checks. Negreanu's gonna c-bet out.
Continuation bet here.
Person's gonna chase the draw. It looks like. Yep.
He did bet in early position, but
But with a gut shot, it's worth a small call.
Another 6.
Well, that
Another
may
quick
be
check from Person.
a free card here.
Negreanu checks back.
Daniel gave him an iffy look. He wants to see a river card.
Queen of diamonds. Doesn't really improve anything there.
For no body, and now Magnus bets.
Person bets about half pot there.
Put his thinking cap on.
Daniel's got a tough call here. You know, he represented the ace, but now because he checked the turn, it looks as if Person might have that ace. Tough position for Daniel Negreanu.
Something doesn't feel right. I don't know.
Yeah. So something that just doesn't seem weird is he just snap check, and then he just bets out when like the queen shouldn't improve his hand. He checked when the board paired. So what the fuck was he like? What the hell does he have? Like it's so weird. Like it's such a weird line. It doesn't make sense.
He's definitely winning this hand.
Daniel Negreanu does know that the story doesn't make sense.
Something doesn't make sense. Daniel might be thinking, did he miss like did he miss a straight draw of 7-8? Did he miss a flush draw of spades? What's going on?
And if Daniel is suspicious,
He might be able to put him on the bluff.
definitely considering a call here. Wouldn't be surprised at all, one of the great readers in poker, if he made this call.
He calls the bluff.
Correctly so.
Same idea. it was an all or nothing call.
Yeah, so like that's just a call that you can make. But just like mainly off of skill, really, like just like in reading your opponents, just like yeah, I think he's bluffing. Like the line just didn't make sense. It was really fishy, and
Or a complete bluff.
so it was like either person was like slow playing like a really strong hand, or he just had nothing, and yeah, he had nothing.
Table at the World Series of Poker presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, Adam Jones from Sturgis, South Dakota, which is very close to Deadwood, where Wild
Seven
Bill
deuce,
Hickok
that's a
was still
snap
playing
fold.
poker. 7 deuce of hearts.
Wild Bill broke the first rule of poker. Keep your back to the wall.
Daniel should bet out here.
With pocket nines.
Pocket nines are a pretty attractive
Gonna raise
hand.
it up to 2,200. Nobody gets a cheap card around here. Peter Antill with pocket fours.
I'm sorry, did Adam Jones call with 7 deuce?
Hearts.
Okay, he's playing long.
Until it's gonna be set fishing.
There's David Stuck, a truck driver from Erie, Pennsylvania.
King 10. He has decent odds here in the big blind to call.
It's a loose call from the big blind.
1,600 more it cost him. Jones, with the raise to him, will call 1,600 more to him.
Jones calls another bet with 7 deuce.
4 to the
Wow,
flop.
7
It is
deuce.
4, 6, Antill got just what he was
Hits
looking
the
for,
set.
a set of fours.
Very nice.
Stuck checks. He's drawing dead. Over to Adam Jones.
Reaching for chips.
He's gonna lead out with the
Puts
deuce.
in 2,800 chips.
I know Jones used to ride Bronx for a
Negreanu's gonna re-raise of his overpair.
kidding here?
Special with
Standard
Negreanu
play.
after him. Daniel's going to raise it. 10,300 more.
Yeah, Daniel likes the flop. It doesn't seem to threaten his pocket nines.
Antle calls. Stuck fold.
So,
That was a nice smooth call from Ant
so Negreanu's like, okay, I just re-raised this guy, and
until as Daniel eyed
this
him.
guy to my left here just called.
Something.
Well,
What does he
Jones
have?
the horse.
So heads up. Negreanu and Antle. 8 of spades. No help for Daniel, who trails big time.
And Daniel slows down. Lon doesn't just have a 6.
Daniel's gonna check something. He knows something's fishy from like what the hell is he calling with?
Checks also.
Anto will not let him know the strength of his hand.
Another 8 on the river. Antle earns the check mark. And he's got the full boat. Daniel checks again.
So he's gonna check back again.
Make it 15,000 with pocket sixes or pocket fours. Which one is it?
Wow.
He's the best.
Pocket sixes or pocket
So he just immediately knew that like Antil would not be calling pre-flop or like I don't know something with like pocket deuces. So he's like, okay, what is he calling with on the flop there? And he put him on the fours and sixes
It's either one.
because like he knew that he didn't have the 5-3 straight because like who the hell is calling pre-flop for like with like 5-3 dude like
Either
what?
one, buddy.
So
Pocket sixes, pocket fours. Which one?
that's just like a good read. Like he knows his opponent's pre-flop range is like deuces obviously are too weak and 5-3 offsuits or 5-3 is like obviously way too weak for him to like be calling pre-flop with. So he was like, okay, I think he has like fours or sixes because those are the only hands he could call on the flop
Why
with.
would you take the turn? You bet the turn, I was just going to fold. I really was. I was just going to give it to him. I mean, he had to have sixes or fours, but 15,000. There's a gazillion in there. I'm going to fold the second best hand.
He's right.
Daniel is the only player at the table, Lon, who has access to the other player's hole cards.
The amateur had the goods on Daniel, but Negreanu was able to get away from that hand and saved himself a lot of chips.
Also, when you say take your pick to someone, you really shouldn't be doing that. That's like not something you should be doing.
Loamy's now thinking, if you've read me, play still.
That's not
Play
something you
this
should be doing.
But I'm going to see a flop. Yeah. See what you're up to early on.
Daniel calls. Deuce 5 king 2 clubs.
Uh-oh. Check.
14. Given bets.
1,400. Do you have a king?
I may have.
Do you? Just tell me.
So the guy's just worried about king here because that's the only thing that like beats his 5 currently.
You have a king?
No.
I called in.
Oh my lord, not only was that free information, but Daniel didn't even have to work for it.
My God.
7 of spades on the turn. Daniel checks.
He doesn't have a king. You're an honest man. I like that.
So does Given. 6 on the river.
You got a 5,
Do I have a 5?
a 3-4.
3, 4. I'm going to bet you $1,200.
Daniel bets.
Weird bet, I know. It's a Phil Helmuthian-like bet, right? It's a Helmuthian bet.
I played that bad. I'm just breaking the ice.
Yeah, like-
I have 3.
Like Negreanu just bet out 1,200, which is literally just like a fifth of the pot because he was like, you know what? I think he was just bluffing. He was just like c-betting with nothing. I'm gonna just bet out here to like make sure he doesn't he doesn't call us like some garbage or some shit.
You make me pay now because you know I never fold. That's fair. Okay. Do what you got to do. I understand. I'm not going to take it personal. Here, take it. Take whatever you want. I just don't fold. It's so boring to fold. So I decided no more folding. You never know what you might hit. I don't know what I have yet. We'll see. I'll tell you what I have after the flop.
What you have, Daniel, is top pair.
Lots of spades.
Check to that guy. He's going to raise. What are you looking at me for? I'm not going to bet. Come on. This flop? That texture? How many spades is it?
Tarnos doesn't bet with his
Ooh.
flush draw and second pair. Okay, so he's a scare card because because that brings like some draws. Jack 8, 8-6, Queen Jack, blah blah blah. You get the point.
Gear card.
Yes, 3 spades, and we're 3-handed here. Really not supposed to be talking.
I'm gonna take a stab.
So when he said he didn't like the texture, that's just him being honest. He didn't like how there was 3 spades, and now when he says he's gonna take a stab at it, basically he's He's just showing that like, okay, if nobody has a flush, then I'm just gonna bet out because like my top pair should be good against
I'm gonna take a stab.
most hands that aren't a flush.
It's not. Yeah, yeah. See what that does. 82. Lots of fun stuff happening on that board. This is one of these. My dad used to do this to me when I was younger. He gave me the nose when he'd stare at him.
You can't see it, but we're totally doing it.
Tartanovs does have draws to go with his jacks.
He has a ton of draws.
In the 10 high flop, so now I'm scared.
Oh shit. He just told Taranov that he has a king. He said, "You were the guy who checked queens on the 10-9 flop." That means he's afraid of Taranov's having an overpair and checking back when he checked back on the flop there. But the only overpair that you can have is aces. So what hand is only afraid of aces here? It's a king. So he basically just told Taranov that he has a king.
River bricks out for Tartanovs.
He's gonna bet
Should
again.
absolutely be betting this board.
He does, 9,600.
96?
He's like, okay, I think Taranov. So he thinks Taranov has a high pocket pair, which is why he mentioned the queens hand. He thinks it's a similar. He thinks it's a similar situation.
Now it's the Sith Lord versus Jar Jar Binks the King.
So he's struggling to call, meaning he doesn't have aces, but he knows that he has a high pair. So it's like, okay, well, since I have a king in my hand and there's a king on the board, there's no way he has kings because he would also just be calling with kings, obviously, right? You know, so maybe he has jacks or queens. Yep. So yeah, that's what he says right there. He calls out the jacks or queens of a spade because the jacks or queens of a spade that has a really good draw, and that's why he's like calling. That's why he called on the turn because he has a ton of equity with jacks and queens of a spade. To call there.
That's what you have? Jacks or queens with a spade? Oh, I got it! He smiled.
And then he called it. There you go.
I'm smiling because you are talking. Oh, I love to talk. I don't shut up. You haven't been paying attention?
So yeah, like a lot of this stuff is like if you're good at poker and you can like analyze stuff.
When have you seen me shut up? I just keep blah 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 blah. Diarrhea of the mouth. Can't help myself.
Story's still checking out.
What do you have?
You can just figure out what people's hands are sometimes.
I would tell you, except you're not allowed. An EPT rule. I would tell you exactly what I have, but I can't. Cool. Because you're Negreanu. I have a king. Okay. Works.
So Daniel wins the last hand of the level.
This is fun. I love having fun playing poker.
This guy.
Is a king. Top pair now for Van Plu.
Good spot for Daniel to just check and pray for a cheap and fruitful showdown.
Daniel does not look comfortable here.
He does check. Not sure cheap showdown is an option though.
Nope. Right now, David just trying to figure out the price of this value meal.
He only has 36,000 behind.
On.
And he shoves.
He shoves with his top pair.
Did you have ace king? No? You know ace king? You had aces or something? No, you didn't have aces. What the hell did you have? Ace But I'm pretty sure you had me beat. Maybe you're goofing. I don't know. I should have moved in before the flop like you kids do.
He just guessed. I don't know how he guessed it, but he did.
Two clubs, a set of fives for Torelli.
Torelli with a really insane hand right now.
He has ace high and a backdoor club draw. And he bets 1,000.
He has a few draws and
For opponents, this bet should come free.
he has backdoor clubs. He has, I don't know, like drawing to like a 3 and a 4. He could draw to an ace as well.
Drink at the bar because it is a little nuts.
How does Torelli play his set?
I think part of Daniel's rationale is that he does have that backdoor nut flush draw, which means he can probably rep huge on the turn.
Torelli raises 2,500 total.
So Torelli will re-raise.
Sammartino gives up the
Usually
three.
you should be folding ace jack here.
Luca folds as well. Daniel calls.
Looks like Negreanu is just.
Daniel's now put in 25% of his stack with no pair and no draw. He's going to need more runners in the New York Marathon.
That's a really good card. If you're like Negreanu here, because like you're like, oh sweet, I have second pair now with the nut flush draw.
Torelli obviously still big favorite with those set of fives.
Daniel's going to think that's the best card in the deck for him, but we know it's the same as any
Daniel's
other
gonna
club.
bet out again.
Except the queen, that would be bad. And it looks like Daniel's going to donk lead this. Don't let the name fool you. Even the pros do this sometimes. That's when you bet into the last aggressor.
Exclusives?
Turley should just call
Torelli's
here.
bound to be a little confused by this.
Daniel's bet 30% of his remaining chips. Torelli may well just put them all in. No, he just calls.
He's either trapping or he wants to reevaluate on the river.
Call or shove. There is usually what you should do.
It's the ace of diamonds giving Daniel 2 pair. And he moves all in. We could be about to lose Daniel Negreanu.
Sick part is he thinks he's value betting.
67. 7,075.
This wasn't a great card for Torelli either.
No, this isn't too great for Torelli because like, the way Negreanu's playing definitely could represent aces with like the ace of clubs. It could also just like, he could also just have the flush. He could have been like semi bluffing the flush draw on the flop, and then he made the flush on the turn. So he puts on ace queen of hearts because he's like, okay, well, the ace, I hold the ace of clubs, and ace of diamonds is on the flop. I mean, is on the board. So that means, what is he re-raising with on the flop there? He has to have like at least top pair, right? So top pair, top kicker. So he says ace queen of hearts. Now the reason why he's saying of hearts is because he's like trying to tell Torelli, hey, I have the ace of clubs in my hand. You should fold, blah, blah, shit like that. He's trying to get Torelli to fold. I'm mentioning that.
Really?
You have a what?
I want to fold.
You don't have a fold?
No, I want to fold. I wanted to
Did you have ace queen of hearts? Is that what you have? That's kind of what I put you on.
fold the damn turn.
There is an argument if you call the turn, you have to call the river.
Ace queen of hearts might get half. Go for the high.
That's a good joke.
Might get half. It's good.
So he's like, okay, I don't think he has ace queen of hearts. After that bit of talk. What? Okay, so what is he re-racing with then? And then he's like, okay, maybe he has a set. He has a set on the flop.
That's what I've been told.
Alec is getting almost 3 to 1.
He had fives?
And he puts him on the set.
And he lays it down. He folds
Now the reason why fives is the thing is because like one of the previous hands I mentioned, deuces sometimes are a bit, I don't know, it was a pretty big pot, so maybe they had deuces. I don't know what the action was pre-flop. But if there was some betting going on, then someone definitely could have someone definitely could have just folded deuces. Especially Torelli. Torelli could have just folded deuces. And then obviously, if you have queens, if you had a set of queens, why the fuck did you let that many people get into the pot? So obviously, the more likelihood was he re-raised on the flop with pocket fives.
Hit fives?
Because fives is fine to play in a big pot, set fish, and there you go. He puts them on the fives, gets ready to fold.
Negreanu's loving life right now on the button with this hand.
Show me just bet with a good amount with his pocket kings, right?
He's really thinking about it. He's confused with this 5x open out of Shlomi.
Oh, Shlomi opened 5 times blind. Wow.
But he makes the call.
He makes the call. He has decent odds in position, but like 5 times is pretty big. So 5 times is a pretty big ass fucking bet.
Could get Daniel in trouble here.
Daniel looked a big speculative pre-flop, and now he's picked up top pair. He might get in trouble.
Shlomi continues.
How much does he bet?
He's made it
He makes a pot-sized bet
It's a pot-sized bet.
on the flop.
No slow playing for
He
Shlomi.
played 5 times pre-flop.
Pre-flop,
In-
pot on the flop.
Pot on the flop. It looks like he's definitely representing a big hand.
Daniel's still not convinced. He wants to call.
But should he call?
Daniel has a tough time
You have top
folding
pair.
pairs, and this is top pair. He should probably fold, but I don't see it happening.
He does make the call.
A big pot is brewing.
Queen of Hearts gets there,
No real threat out there to Shlomi's kings.
Shlomi can't
and
be too concerned about this turn card.
Shlomi bets again, but for a smaller amount.
This time he decides to make it a little bit cheaper for Negreanu. He went full pot on the flop, right around half pot on the turn.
Surely this is where Daniel lets it
Also have
go.
on the turn.
Daniel is trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. He makes the
Calls.
call. He's not entirely convinced yet.
There's the 8. Could bring in like
Again, this river
a
really
draw,
doesn't
even
change
though I
much.
doubt Negreanu would call in the flop
Only
of a
hand
draw.
this helps is 6, 7,
And
or
Shalomi
8,
bets
9.
out for just a third of the
And
pot,
Shalomi only
basically.
fires out a third pot on this river. He
So,
gives Negreanu a fair price to make.
so if you're Negreanu here, it's like, okay, why is he? He has a big hand, obviously. If he had queens, um, if he had queens, then he would be betting higher. If he had jacks, he would be playing way more cautious. So why is he just betting? That means he must have kings or aces, right?
Take this call. He's getting 4 to 1 on his money.
Well, let's see if Daniel can get away from this.
He doesn't have nines or tens because I do block. Because he does block those, and tens he'll be playing much more passive as well.
Daniel
So
is determined Angel Small River Bet is a value hand that Kid Poker can't beat. Although it's hard for him to rep a hand, he's bumping it up.
Aces or kings? Can I say that, or is that illegal? Heads up. I can say what he has, but not what I have. Okay. I'm thinking aces or kings.
You think right?
yep, that is correct.
Really pulled the trigger correctly on that one.
So after you do some thinking real quick,
And
you
Shlomi's
think,
not
okay,
thinking,
he must have
"I'm
aces or
reckoning for
kings.
ace or kings. Surely you can beat ace or kings. I have to fold."
If I show one, do I have to show all? Okay. I can show one? I can show one if I want to? I don't have a good one to show.
Aces or kings are good, right?
Of course. That's what I thought he had, but not that I can beat it.
Oh my god. But yeah, there you go. There's analysis on how Dan Negreanu can read your hand sometimes. I still don't know how he like read the kings on Mike Sexton that one time. But besides that, it's just a lot of skill, a lot of experience, really. Table talk, tells, stuff like that. It's just the whole package of like becoming a poker professional player. You just gotta figure it out, really, with like just a whole asset of skills that you have with you. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed the analysis. It's going to sign up. Peace.